John Hook's Newsmaker starts now.
Thanks for joining us on Newsmaker. As the ASU Sun Devil football team continues its magical ride in the college football playoffs, we thought it would be a perfect time to check in with a legendary Sun Devil who knows what it's like to be in the eye of that storm. In 1996, the Sun Devils went undefeated, won the Pac-10, and earned a berth in the 1997 Rose Bowl against Ohio State. And they had the Buckeyes beat with about 1:40 left, but lost in the final 19 seconds. Had they hung on, they would have been the national champions. And the quarterback of that ASU team in that magical run, Jake Plummer, Jake the Snake, joins me on Newsmaker. Jake, great to see you.
Hey, it's great to see you too. Thanks for having me today, and great time to be talking Sun Devils, right?
It's unbelievable. Jake, how much contact have you had with this team throughout the year? These kids were born before you had your run, but has Kenny Dillingham embraced all the guys from that team and brought you in to talk to the players?
Yeah, I've been down numerous times since they hired him. Was very excited, as you know, he was a Tempe boy, born and raised. Story has it, I guess it came out he was wearing a 16 Sun Devil jersey back in the day when I was playing. So, of course, I've been a huge support of anything going on with ASU football through all of the coaches since my time. But it's exciting to see someone come from that area that really had his eyes set on this job as his dream job, and now he's here at such a young age with so much energy and dedication to this program that you can't help but get behind it. And the quality of players that he's brought in, the guys he's brought in that really have embraced that message of playing for each other, making it matter, taking advantage of this moment. You know, it's changed a little bit. I'm always welcome back as the guy that people tend to know more than other players on that 96 team, but Kenny's really opened up the doors to all of us to come back. He wants us all to be in those hallways, to come out to practice, to be around his players, to share the stories, and let them know how important it is to be a Sun Devil.
Jake, the similarities between the 96 team and this team have been drawn by a lot of people. Do you see that there's something with chemistry and team coming together along with the staff that is special?
Yeah, I think definitely there's something there that you can see. I felt it when I finally, saw some life in spring practice, let alone it's easy to get up for the games on Saturdays or whatever day you're playing. But when you're in spring practice and it's really, hitting each other and you're sore and you're tired, and seeing Cam Scattaboo one day when I was out at practice take every single rep as a running back and special teams and just never stop, like 100% effort, just like it was game. You know, that's a tone setter. I like to call those guys the tone setters, because there's really nobody. Once a guy like that is at that level, if that's not matched by most, if not all of the team, then you're going to stand out as not going hard, not playing hard. And I think that has helped, having guys like him. Obviously having a signal caller back there that's exciting and fun to watch. He can throw it, he can run, he's fearless, he's tough, he's scrappy, and he's a natural leader.
Yeah.
You've got to have that from that position.
I saw him and I thought he looked a lot like you, and then I find out that you said the same thing, that it's like watching yourself.
Sometimes, it's not quite the same, but he's definitely, as a freshman, redshirt freshman, he's doing it at a pretty high level. The camaraderie they've built, it took us years to kind of build to that 96 team where all of us were together. There was no portal. People were not leaving. The only sad thing was we lost some guys to maybe some academics, or they just didn't cut it and left. But otherwise, we had a core group of guys that were together for 4 years. So what they're doing in this short period with all these guys coming from the portal, it's really a tip your hat to the coaching staff and whatever the energy in there to build these guys, to bring them together, to know that it matters, for the guy next to you. I really commend Kenny and his staff for building that, because it did take some time for us to gain that trust and to build that belief in each other. But once we had it, we had that magical run, and these guys are on an amazing run. They really are playing well. They're finding ways to win, and it comes from those guys that really, you can tell, the guys out on the field that play, that it matters to them again.
You may not know this, but you know Jude LaCava. Jude and I were standing in the end line as you piled into the end zone on that 11-yard run. I'm literally only probably 15 feet from you. Wow. And I saw you poke through there. I mean, it was a wall of humanity, and suddenly you come darting through. And I said to Jude, he's going to effing score. And sure enough,
I effing scored, man.
And sure enough, I will not repeat what I heard you said when those guys piled on you, but it was something like, who's the man? I'm the effing man.
That might have been me, or it could have been one of those guys piling on me. I was more just so ecstatic to go in the lead, and then I got off the sideline. I was like, oh, man, we still got some time left.
Yeah, I had the same feeling.
I got a little crazy after that. I was telling everybody. I was really pretty animated. If you'd have caught some of those quotes, just tell them, guys, this isn't over. Do not celebrate. We're not national champs. Like, we got to close the door here. And, for some reason, we were the team that didn't pull it out that day, and we've all, grown from that and learned from that, and we missed that opportunity. We didn't become national champs, but, man, I got so many great friends and so many brothers from that team that I can lean on anytime I want, that have formed such a bond. That's really the special part of this, and I think Kenny really preaches that to these guys here today that are practicing and getting ready for this big game. Like, you're going to remember this time the rest of your life. No matter what you do, this is going to be talked about for a long, long time, not only in Tempe, but depending on what they do, could be talked about around the country for a while.
I got to ask you, before we take a break, and I want to keep you on for a minute if we can, because I'm really enjoying it. Hope you are.
Yeah.
I talked to Luis Gonzalez one time. He shared the story of when he hit the winning hit in Game 7 of the World Series. And he said that he would wake up sometimes with dreams that he did not make that hit. That was his nightmare. He would wake up and he didn't make the hit. Do you still think about that Rose Bowl game? I mean, I know you played in the NFL for 9 or 10 seasons, but do you ever think about that game still and go, man, alive, we were so close?
Yeah, it's been played back many times in my mind, and we were coaching, we were doing our thing. We'd gotten to that point. Our coaches had got us there. Everybody will, talk about, why'd you go prevent? Why'd you do this? When you squibbed it and you ran time off. But if you recall, we were marching back again on offense.
Oh, yeah. You completed two passes in that drive.
Got tackled at like the 33 or 32. And we would have had a chance if there would have been 1 second left to kick a field goal, and who knows what happens after that. So it was just such a great game. Looking back as a fan, it was a phenomenal game. It would have been great to be national champs. Yes, that would have been the ultimate, right? But that mark we've left on that valley, the impression, and the guys that I know from that team, we believe in each other. Even today, we know, hey, man, let's get some stuff done. We can get it done. And that's a beautiful thing to have with a group of guys that'll go on and live forever.
Yep. We're going to take a break. Jake Plummer is our guest on Newsmaker, talking about this team this year and a look back at the 96-97 Sun Devil team. We're back in a minute on Newsmaker. Back on Newsmaker with the one, the only Jake the Snake Plummer from the 96-97 Sun Devil team. Jake, you played 4 years at ASU, right? You got the start even your freshman year. Can you talk about what that means to a kid like Sam Levitt to be able to, you hope he stays around, and with NIL and the portal and all of this, you never know. But what does that mean to have those kind of reps early on?
Yeah, that's really big for a young man, especially, he's coming from Michigan State, so he already went to a college and had a chance. Coming to ASU, he brought a lot of what I saw was something that it mattered to him. Like he was out of practice, just like in spring ball. When I saw that practice with Cam Scattaboo, I watched him take the team down on a final drive in spring ball, and they scored. And usually it's like, oh, it's practice, okay. And he was jumping around and like hitting guys on the head and like getting down, and it's like that's important to see. And so as a freshman, you're coming in and it's a brand new team, really. I mean, so many guys came from the portal that it's not like it's a team of vets that have been there for 4 years, even though there are some that have been around. but he came in and just kind of set down like his standard. And I think that they've lived by that and really embodied that. And his style is fun to watch. He can throw the ball all over the place. He throws on the run really well. And I love when he scrambles because he goes and dives forward and gets those extra yards. And he's pretty fearless. You know, he's not scared of anything. And for your guy calling the shots back there to be like that, it's very important, because then the other guys, you know, they have no choice but to play as hard as they possibly can with all effort.
You know, I got to throw a quote at you from your former agent, Lee Steinberg. He said of you that you are one of the minuscule few that I could see living a completely fulfilled life away from football. He was as close to an egoless major star that I've ever seen. That is high praise.
Yeah, nice quote. Lee was an amazing agent for me coming out. Again, another confidence boost for me coming out of college, and you know, having such a great career at ASU and being dubbed as too small, not big enough, didn't have the arm strength, not durable. And I'm like, wait a sec, I played 44 straight games. Who's saying these things? And Lee just stuck with me and made sure that I knew, you know, what I could do and reach my potential. And you know, he's always kind of seen into the future. And you know, I've spent some great time with Lee and his organization. Still do. Lee's still doing amazing stuff. And for him to say that, you know, that has to do with being raised right, having, you know, good parents, good brothers, good family, good foundation of like who I am and what I believe in. And I've always just tried to be true to who I am and be myself and be a leader. And guys seem to enjoy that.
You know, the reason, Jake, the reason I bring it up is because Sam Levitt is a very confident guy. And I think you were very gracious with all of us during those times when you were playing. You know, you were very good to the press. You were very good with people and fans. But you were supremely confident. And I see that in Sam Levitt. Sam is not short of confidence.
Yeah. You got to have that. And it can't be cocky and bragging and look at me and feeling like you expect something different because you're that quarterback and someone else isn't. And that's where that confidence comes, and just believing in yourself, believing in your abilities. He has obviously, you know, I've met him and not spent time with him, but got to be around him and meet his parents and like see, you know, he's a good kid. He comes from a good family, and this is important to him. And, you know, off behind the scenes, we're the ones that look at ourselves in the mirror every day. And you're not sitting there saying, wow, you're doing amazing. You're so good. Look at you. You're so great. But you're looking at yourself going, yeah, look what I'm doing. All right. I gotta keep doing this. I like this. I like this feeling. I want to be this guy. And that has to be with confidence, because if you don't have it, you can't lie. These eyes don't lie when you get in the huddle. When you get in the huddle and it's tough and you've had a bad, you know, little spell of interceptions or bad throws, or it's time to go down and make something happen, when they see your eyes, you don't have to say anything. They just can see it in your eyes that you know it's going to happen if all 11 of us do our job. And I like that people see that and say that about him. And, you know, the sky's the limit for him. And will we be able to keep him around, and will he be a Sun Devil next year? Let's not worry about that anymore. It's a new era. So let's just buy into, like, he's here now. Let's love this kid up. And hopefully he wants to stay, because there's other teams everywhere that may be better and greener pastures, but you're building something here that could really last. You could be a powerful team for years to come. And why would you want to leave that? So I hope that he stays. But, you know, he is a confident young man. You can tell by the way he plays. Yeah, and what you just described, this portal situation, is, as I see it as of right now, I don't think anybody on the first or second team at ASU has entered the portal. I may be mistaken about that, but I think that's right. And I guess my point is, you know, there is the flip side. The portal allowed Kenny to bring in a lot of guys, really quality guys. So it made their team instantly better in the offseason, and they put a great stew together. You know, you risk on the other side guys going for the money, and you can't blame them. But what do you think of all that? Because in a way, it's a great leveler for college football. Yeah, it's definitely it's free agency without any contracts, really. You can go and play one year and be out to chase whatever. And there's going to have to be some parameters set down eventually, I imagine. But for now, you know, you have kids transferring from schools like ASU that go 9-2, maybe 10-2, maybe 10-3, whatever it is, and they transfer to another school. And it's kind of mind-boggling to me because, when I came to ASU, it was all about committing to the maroon and gold and Sun Devil tradition and being a part of that and building something over those years. Now, these coaches are figuring out how to do it quickly and knowing that you could lose some guys, or, as I had a conversation with Kenny, last year, it was like, or you sign a guy and you have to pay them now, and then the guy that you really wanted, now he comes out into the portal and you're like, oh, if I'd have just waited, I could have got him for less money or something like that. So it's really, it's a Wild West. It's kind of gambling. It's trusting your instinct. And really, I think it's about interactions with these kids and these players to figure out which ones really are genuine about coming to play ball. And yes, there is going to be money involved, and they deserve it. They deserve to make some money.
So you think it's good? You think they should be paid?
I think somehow, some way that they should be compensated now. Is it the right way now? I'm not sure if we have the right way down, because these schools with big boosters, big money, the ability to court these guys with more incentives and money, it becomes now, a power game. Who has enough money right now? Like you said, Kenny has cooked a great stew. He's got all the great parts in there, and I'd like to think that, when you cook a stew and you put it away for a night or two and then you bring it back out and heat it up, it's even better. So hopefully right now they're just marinating, getting better, and getting ready to come out January 1 and show us even how much more they've improved in this break. That'd be really fun to see.
Hey, Jake, I'm just curious. You walked away from the NFL. You walked. You weren't let go. You walked. Let's see, 6 seasons with the Cardinals, 4 with the Broncos, AFC Championship. Do you miss it? And when you walked away, were you like, man, this is all I've kind of known? Or did you have so much other stuff going, you were like, I can walk and be very happy?
Yeah, I think, playing 10 straight years, playing 4 straight at ASU, you could say, it was 14 years of high-level football I played, counting 2 in high school. That's 16 years of just getting beat up. And, for me, it was my body more than anything. Mentally, I still loved the game. I still enjoyed the process. Some of the extraneous, like outside the game things would be a little much with, media coverage. And for instance, our AFC Championship game, I had a Thursday routine that I went and did at the facility. Now all of a sudden we got to drive downtown and have a press conference. And I was just like, no, I just want to go and watch film, then get home, have my dinner, and go to bed. And now I got to get a suit and go down to do all this for the media. And so part of me was fighting that a little bit, but physically I was done. Mentally it was getting a lot. It was a lot on my body and my mind, and I don't have any regrets at all. I do miss, of course, competing on such a grand stage and being, one of the best in the entire world at what I did. But I found ways to come up with alternatives for that. I played a lot of handball, mountain bike. I play a lot of pickleball now. I do yoga. I really take care of my body, knowing that, I beat it up pretty bad. And former athletes, we do that. We do beat our bodies up playing the game. No matter how many years you played, you took on some hardcore injuries. And so there's a real, shift in focusing on how to take care of yourself post-career. And now these kids take such great care of themselves during their career that they're already on a great path. But the former players, we didn't do that. And that's just becoming part of their routine now. So if anything, I probably wish I would have taken a little more care of my body during my playing days and not ran so hard at times, but I don't have any regrets. I laid it all on the field. I had a great career. Almost went and played in the Super Bowl also, which was my childhood dream. Yeah. So all in all, at the end of it, I walk away. I ran away, man. I felt good enough to run away from the game. I wasn't limping or dragging out of there, getting kicked out of there. I left with my own sanity, knowing I put it out there and it was time to go do something else.
Yeah, and I was going to leave with that. You're feeling pretty good. Body's pretty good. I mean, you took some shots. Head feels good. Brain feels good. You feel pretty good getting out of that, pretty much intact. Yeah,
it was really living on anti-inflammatories and understanding the detriment they could cause to your body, long term. it didn't bode well. My mom always taught me to be really aware of what you're putting in your body. Don't just take something just because they tell you to. Go check it out. Make sure it's not going to have bad side effects. And, as I left, I was active. I've always been active. I've always loved to play basketball and handball and golf and tennis and whatever. I'm always very active still to this day, and that's really what saved me. But you can feel your body start to deteriorate a little bit, and old injuries pop up, an arthritic toe here, or a shoulder that's sore if I go out and throw the rock a little bit. And taking care of your body is a lot of work, and it can be for some more than others. Really just cleaned up what I consume. What I put in my body is pretty clean, and that allows me to run on a pretty good energy. And I found some other alternative forms of nature and medicine that really help. And all along just had an open mind on saying I don't want to be beat down and limping and old and losing my memory, when I don't think we have to if we take care of ourselves the right way and really research it and put effort into it.
Yep. I wanted to ask you about that because the mushroom thing, therapeutic mushrooms, we had Bob Parsons on, the PXG guy, GoDaddy.
Yeah.
They changed his life. He talked about it on this program. And you've done the same thing.
Yeah, there's a lot out there with mushrooms. I mean, they've been around for a very, very long time, and for centuries have been used in Chinese medicine and Eastern medicine as a way to treat a whole plethora of ailments and disease. Right now in Colorado, a lot of the talk is around psychedelic mushrooms and microdosing and going on psychedelic journeys to approach, depression, PTSD, anxiety, childhood traumas, or anything that has been keeping you down. That all has its abilities, and it's going down its path as it's an illegal substance. But what we're doing at UMBO is functional mushrooms. We call them functional, and they're totally legal. We sell our bars and REI. Our products are shipped to your door. There's no restrictions. There's no illegalities, non-psychoactive compounds that have been around for a very long time. One of the very first organisms on this beautiful planet. And to get an opportunity to do that is again, back to what I said about having an open mind and having a passion and actually experiencing the benefits that they've brought to me and opened my mind to the possibilities of how I approach my health and wellness, and turning 50 here soon.
Yep.
It's a big one. You start to reflect and look back. I don't want to slow down. I want to keep going. And, the odds may be stacked against me a little bit. I didn't sustain any huge injuries, like no separation, no real bad strains or tears or anything like that. But I did sustain quite a few pretty serious injuries that didn't take me off the field, but I kept playing through them. So, my body, I'm trying to treat it like as good as I can and try to flush out those old injuries and approach some of those things that linger and see why they are there.
What would you say to this current ASU team if you had a moment with them in the locker room before they step on the field in the Peach Bowl?
To let the moment is big. You don't have to say much about that. They know what's on the line, but really make sure they know that, like, whatever happens, they're going to be loved and everything's going to be fine. So leave it all out there. Leave it out there for the guy next to you. Leave it out there because this could be the last time you ever play football. Leave it out there because you're a Sun Devil, and that's what we do. You have that PT 42 here on your chest. That dude laid it out there every single second, no matter if it was a game or practice or a discussion about Hitler being a special person or something like that. Pat was a wild man, and he did it. And so I would say to those kids, basically just remember, you've worked to get here. Enjoy it too. Take a minute to just, oh, wow, yeah. And then go have some fun and go get a win.
Go ball. Yep. Jake, thank you so much. I really appreciate your time. It's great to see you again.
John, thank you, man. This has been a pleasure. I really appreciate the opportunity. And, it's an exciting time in the Valley. Everybody believes, when you believe, good things can happen. So go Devils.
I saw it in '96. I believed. All right, Jake, thank you. Jake Plummer, and we'll be back in a moment on Newsmaker. Thanks for joining us this week on Newsmaker with Jake Plummer, the one and only. Really enjoyed it. We'll see you next week on Newsmaker.